goodness. I wanted to be cute. Thank you. I wanted to be cute, but this is like, have you ever worn one of these shits? It's just like crazy. Not to be culturally insensitive, which I definitely just was, because this is not some black shit. This is a kimono-like shit. So, hi. 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 Thank you. So, like, we're alive, and that's, like, a whole job. But, like, I'm okay with it. I'm super good with it. Not good on it, which is actually means I'm done with it. But I'm good with it. So I wrote this whole book, I Be But I Ain't. And yeah, buy the book. It is not expensive, which is why you can buy it where books are sold. Or online, where everything is sold. So I'd be like watching and not watching the news because I value my sanity, of which there is minimal. And I realized I had written this book. Wow, that is a lot of jibber jabber. Yo, be quiet. Thank you. So they're not gonna be quiet. It's fine. They at the bar. But I realized I've written this book that has a Confederate general's words marking each chapter of the book, because I'm so obsessed with people who don't know how to lose. And I'm also one of those people, but I like to think I'm on the right side of history, that we're all on the right side of history. And so when it comes to these monuments being taken down, I'm like, leave that shit up. That looks bummy as fuck. And at least I'm not crazy. You really lost and then built a statue. You nutty. So this one general, Confederate General Stonewall I'm dead ass though, yo. Like, I lived in Mississippi for a year and a half. They really got 2 motherfucking statues in that bitch talking about, oh, for the daughters of the Confederacy, for the sons of the Confederacy. I'm like, y'all niggas ain't a thing. Like, you tried to make fetch happen. It then did not occur. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. But then I taught, like, Klan members' children, and that was awkward, because I was still myself. So I wrote this nigga in a book, and I get to do that because he's dead and I'm not. So I wrote a quote of his before a poem of mine. Yeah, already I won because that nigga is dead. I am alive. It is a difference. So I wrote a quote that he said, He who does not see the hand of God in this is blind, sir, blind. Right? That nigga was kind of nice with his. But I'm nicer. How to kill a house centipede by squishing it behind a photo of Marion McKebba while contemplating various iterations of rigor mortis in my gentrified apartment complex on 750 McDonough Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11233. It does appear to be a strain itself, viral of some design, even violent with symmetry, each set of legs leading up to more sets of legs, and I don't know how to greet it, how to kindly suggest it, get the fuck out my house, or lead me to where it multiplies. Is there a nest of these, a hive of these? What do these call each other when in a large amorphous congregation? Do these fall in love and mate or mate and hatch? Which is further from what I know. Sometimes I can't tell the human preference, and yes, it is the farthest thing from a person, though it could burrow in me if I allowed it, or even if I didn't allow it, which makes it exactly like certain human qualities again burrow through somewhere that requires synapse before a holler out can occur. An ear canal, for example, a nostril, for example, a non-consenting passage. You know the type. Conquered. When I am too happy, I catch a fever and have to lie down, throw my arms into an unbearable position. What we talk about when we talk about the shape we leave this world in. And yes, I suppose I am that interested in the body defeated, or the body striving to say something new about itself, like the position saints die in, neck craned, arms crossed, legs crossed, how they don't decompose. And yes, part of me is ugly enough to want to be a saint, which means I will never be a saint, never die with all my limbs neatly drawn, and I can't say I'd be an amenable corpse, or that you would know how to greet me and my 2 tattoos, perhaps a third before I'm burnt and thrown. And yes, I hope to be burnt and thrown not for any spiritual reason, unless claustrophobia is a spiritual spiritual reason I wake up, screaming from dreams of waking up underground between Mississippi, Ohio, Montreal, a thumb, white, and no. I can't say I thought of anyone when I did it. When I saw 4 antennae lead a long insect across the wall above my desk, not the base of my wrist, popping against a paper version of Miriam Makeba, her gray hand on her gray pencil dress, a woman who sang sometimes with her eyes closed and sometimes not. And yes, it is this that I find least human, to sing without your eyes open like sleeping next to someone you love. It is a symmetry, a faith, a nest of this, a hive of this, an amorphous congregation of this. So it is likely easy to kill if you can locate the source. And yes, I thought when one of the antennae dropped, the other left to twitch without audible pattern, stuck as a corpse to a woman who is often not allowed to leave or forced to stay very far from where she began. I guess you call that exile, which is something I do understand. I thought a colonizer's thought, not I'm sorry or I shouldn't have killed it, but if I don't kill it now, how will I find it again? Thank you. All right, so I write a lot about bugs, and my mom told me not to write about bugs because she said, oh, people gonna think you nasty, like you got bugs in your house, but whatever. I'm not nasty. I don't know. Like, what? How do you preface that? I'm gonna write about bugs, whatever. And I love my mom, and I'm also not nasty, but I also will write about, I'm a complicated person. Come on with them, yes. Who am I? I don't know. It's a problem. But I'm working with it with Dr. Malik. It's working. So I write a series of poems called Slave Poem. And you got to say it like that, like slave poem, because I'm a descendant of slaves. And it's strange that that happened. So that's how I deal with my trauma. I put an exclamation point on it. like we all do, no? So that's what and so I'm also trying to figure out, like, all right, what am I still a slave to? Slave poem. Shh. Shh. I feel like that annoying librarian, like that really like rude, bitchy librarian that's just like, shh. And I'm like, bitch, I'm understood. It's a quiet, this is not quiet, it's fine. I like it, it's cute. And y'all are cute. Slave poem. It was so hot there were dead roaches. I love you, and then it got roaches. You had a lot of last name going on, and I woke up bleeding through linens. A rack of ribs is the style I bleed out on linens with. A messy bitch when I feel ignored or like staying alive. 2 tumblers of champagne and tits out if I want. I wake up with dirt, caked, lined as in caulking between skin and nail. I can't stay awake without breaking my heart. I break into houses, change my name for an interval, see how the other half tastes. The first time I felt the chill on my face in months. The white man who lives in my head, not far from the white man who lives in a slave castle and would point from a balcony down to a black someone, and that day she would feel water on her body, smell like an ocean she couldn't see for him, for a crippled arch, and rush to the end of the world. Took a swig of Jim Beam and a choir of yielded crops sprung out my chest where the blonde hairs grow. A dark omen for the nothing black about me comment section. I lose weight in my feet and watch videos of white children shooting deer for the first time. There's no such thing as a fixed location. The deer cocks his head at the child's step towards him, loosens the thrill of her name, I believe you love me, until I'm sitting in a bar of fluorescent purple, and I know you're thinking of someone you lived with before. I fuck you until somewhere she is a meter high. A man in Mississippi sees me when I'm walking in Bed-Stuy. I'm just a ghost, niggas, and he's more sure of my body than I am. Smoke socket, liquor bound. I am my grandfather's cursed extension. I am nothing if not my colonizer's bastard cum. I am nothing but. I am warm and riddled with life. Occasionally a deer will walk in front of my porch. Occasionally albino lizards crawl into my home and die. I know this is my dad begging. A skeleton isn't hard to wait for. You just have to clear your schedule. It's tax season and flu season, and I don't say cotton. Latin. It's offensive. And the men sometimes have hands so big my throat lengthens, choke me out. And when I pick up air, someone will be left knocking the blonde field. Right, so I lived in Mississippi for a goddamn year and a half. You know, there's a reason they say a curse word after the name of the state. And I went down there like, it's just not a big deal. And it's like, oh, we're gonna kill you. That was the arc, was like, it's super not a big deal. And it was like, you dumb Yankee bitch, we're going to kill you. Do you know what I mean? And so this happened. So you don't have things like this there. Like, imagine if there's like no Shannon in Mrs. because there's not, and they don't do shit like this because they don't, and then you're a bitch like me who decided to live there, right? Like I'm so fucking thankful for this here. Like, can we clap that we came through here? And like you also are clapping for the people like us who are there, right? Who don't have this nothing, right? Right? You from the South? No, but you feel it though. Yes. So it's a mess, right? And so you got situations like this. This was my first week in Mississippi. Everybody want to know. That's why you shushing. No, I'm just being silly. All right. He tells me in Mississippi the only laws broken concern meth and obesity. I'm at the Dude Ranch, listening to a black man from Oxford rap, a genocide is a genocide. His 40-acre ballad, land, and we want to put our feet in the dirt alive. This blonde soror wobbles into me, hey, and the draw hits the rim of her Coors Light, so you're not bi. Her lips are 2 sheets of Bible paper. You're nervous? It's because I'm from Mississippi, right? I ask her if she has a name I can call her. It's Nancy, and she tells me I'm going to have a hard time down here. Her shirt is a scarf that falls off every time she shouts, woo! She could have been anywhere tonight, the other queer black woman says to me. A Keith Urban concert? Anywhere. My lipstick looks like shoe shine polish on her chin, and around us are approximately 7 shrines to white Jesus. They're mostly ironic, says the Mississippians. In my bed and alone, a black thing falls at a crack in my white ceiling, a cockroach that can fly. Let's all get in bed with the queer black Yankee fuck. Her androgynous sex, her menstrual shuck all down my chin. Don't cancel my order, ship that bitch back to me live. It got to the point where chattel was less fuckable. Consent is the mule we never got. A roach wakes me up by crawling on my arm, and a black man in Queens, New York tells me he's envious. At least he gets to touch you. Let's lay hands on her, said the Lord. Let's lay hands on her, said the soror. Let's lay hands on her, said the black man. Let's lay hands on her, said the roaches that could fly. All right, so this is part 2. So that's called pronunciation part 1. This is called pronunciation part 2. And so in this book, the word her comes up a lot. If you want to talk to me, just call me by my name, which is Aziza, or my nickname, which is Z, because I don't really do that shit. This is more about how people decided to talk to me. It's a little thing that just goes a long way for my sanity and how many appointments I need to make with Dr. Malik. It's helpful. Pronunciation, part 2. It's like one of those rain sticks. We should get you a rain stick. Yo, bruh. You know the thing I don't get though, right, is that like I know they want to know. I know they want to listen, but maybe they're just too far back so they feel like, oh, they didn't invite me. You know what I mean? They could, I don't know. It's kind of cute. I think it's endearing. Let me let them have it. Pronunciation, part 2. This is about barbershops. The blade is in his hand and coming up the back of my neck when he says, Abbeville is how you would pronounce it. There's a bale of cotton on a shelf next to 4 basketball trophies next to a TV broadcasting soul plane. Across the street is a rebel flag waving over a detention center behind a Methodist church on MLK Drive. I miss the simplicity of cartoons, a big sign that reads jail above one, far from anywhere you could get a haircut or baptism. When black men hit a certain age, they're 45 in the face forever. And one such man in his gator loafers and no front teeth slides up to me something cool and says, I often find myself in the strip club. I say, I don't go outside if I can help it. We are both here paying a man with the surname Isaiah to touch us, blade in hand behind our ears until the cut is clean. On Soul Plane, the older white dude catches a case, presumably his first, of seeing a black woman's ass come down slow into a seat behind the 99-cent store adjacent to the Popeyes, his Jones for discount meat. I've never felt a bowl of cotton in my hands. The plastic command of a basketball trophy means we made it. We laid hands on it. A woman naked on a pole, then, is a bale of cotton. A detention center is a basketball trophy yielded from a harvest of church. The 99-cent store is a blade coming up the neck of sacrificed chicken grease. All the poles we pray to burn perm-like on every MLK-mandated avenue. My hair shorn and ankle-bound is void of memory. If the eternal 45-year-old in his gaiters saw fit to lift my hair from where it laid, after I paid Isaiah what was his, for the knife, for the pronunciation, that would be another thing I'd never feel. Y'all have been so lovely and supportive and beautiful and all the things that are synonyms for that. And thank you, DJ, and thank you, Shannon, and oh my goodness, thank y'all. And for all the goodness coming up. If you want to talk to me after, that's always nice. It's just nice. Just a nice thing. I mean, say nice things, then it's nice. If you don't, then it's like, why did you talk to me? I've had a weird week. It's fine. Mercury is in the full tilt opposite direction. But I'm super into it because I'm like, fuck it up. Fuck it up. You know what I mean? Can you play that? Rake it up. You know, or that later when I'm, not to do that. Okay, noted. Because I'm super supportive of money and my having it and your having it. You know, but okay, last PSA, and now I'm gonna read the poem and I'm gonna go home or to the chair, which apparently is home. What really irritates me is when, you know, queer artists of color are like, I don't care about money. I'm just like, here, and whatever this little bounce is that I see them do, because I'm like, I don't want to be broke. I don't want y'all to be broke. I want us to have mad racks, and then like be able to do this, and then also be like, pop a bottle if you want, start a museum org if you want, house all the homeless queer youth if you want. There is nothing good about being broke. Ever. It's not cute, fun, or artsy. It's sad, and worse. It's my last thing. Just get a Roth IRA, your 401k, and a nice tax consultant, and be cute. It's just, the days of being a broke, cute bitch are nigh. Like, when someone's like, hey, do you want to know my credit score? I'm like, I'm yours. And that's maybe sad, but I'm a capitalist hoe. Staunchly. Anyway, you are here. Life, be an inarticulate beast. Given that whole situation, I allowed for a democratic entry. I said wine, you said address, and I am comfortable asking for compacted pleasure in exchange for information I know by rote. Weeks later and after, a friend, a man, tries to fix my toilet, and I bound up to the pipe drain to function. What I wear is small around my chest, and he tells me to put on a shirt in my own damn house. Often, I can't say more about what happened other than it happened. I strangle a stain of lemon into my tea. I tally the nothing I've said. You couldn't know I want you if I've already decided you've forgotten me. Beg my teeth into the heinous yellow of a hoarder, wheat yellow. Harvest a colony of regret in my gullet. If I were old dirty, I'd be a better version of my demons. Could say, you a ball of fire with no feeling. And I could say, I'm not smiling, I'm just showing my teeth. The bent hue of plaque eclipsing even my own disappointment in how little I ask for. A dead man asked for more. And is it that, death, the requirement? I hear my cousins say piece of ass and 20 years something girls and crazy, crazy, and the devil never prosper as a prayer. They don't wake up with their uncle's hands, married to the best hips the hood could stack up. We all got needs. We all want to be carpenters and watch the rain not fall in. When you were here, before my broken toilet and tea, before my cousins and parades of women's arms scouring to mucus and clot, the sun beat hard down my curtain. A yellow bed sheet hung body tall. We turned shut our alarms, laid full as almost mothers. Of life was patient. Until the metro cards and places to be. If I were old dirty, I'd buy a new toilet and sit on top of the broken toilet to never forget where I came from. I'd have asked you to cancel your day because I don't like being stuck with all the women yelling in my head. And you'd say, dirt, dirty, be soil, not soiled. I wouldn't know what to grow here. Thank you.